What's up, guys? It's Celine here. Now, with no sports on TV, I'm bored. You're probably bored. I mean, you're definitely bored. We're all bored. We all get it. We all understand. And we would do just about anything to see live action back on TV. And I mean, you could get action on Too Hot to Handle, but that's not the action that we're talking about. Now, I shouldn't say that all leagues are still canceled, as the Bundesliga did start up this past week, and the Premier League have gotten their okay to start training, and UFC as well, can't forget about that. But two leagues who we are still waiting on their decision is the NBA and the NHL. As we all know, their seasons were cut short. I want to hear what your take on all of this going on in the world of sports is. So I've decided to ask a couple of sports fanatics themselves. Hey Jeff, how's everything? How's your quarantine life been?
Quarantine life has been okay. I think we all think that it'd be easier to get some sleep. I definitely have not. I've been kind of busy actually, which is good and bad. Obviously mostly bad on the sleep part, but getting organized has been kind of tough. But at the same time, I'm still being pretty productive. So pretty happy with that actually.
And I know you're a soccer fan, so the Bundesliga, they begun this past week. Although it was a really different scene, you had players on the side sitting 6 feet apart from each other wearing masks. When they celebrated a goal, they couldn't be near each other. But then they're on the field playing together, sweating on top of each other, being rough, trying to get the ball. Absurd. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that pretty much any sport that continues this way, and especially ones that start to change more rules and things like that, it's ultimately not fair. The biggest thing with it's tough. It's obviously a tough situation. And the other thing that kind of sucks is that a lot of players, I believe that there is a lot of players, I don't think they've been necessarily named or been coming out directly into the media, but a lot of players have had issues with it. It's not like that they're all happy to do this, to leave their families at this time. I just think that every single sport is going to have this issue of being, there's just sort of an asterisk. Like a lot of teams, there's no more home ice, home court, home field advantage type of thing anymore. And that will affect teams. It's a different sport in that way. Ultimately, it's really down to the fact that these leagues just don't want their clubs to go bankrupt. So it is a very difficult situation, Celine.
Yeah, and leading with that point that you just stated, I understand that a lot of these organizations, they need to start going again to not face a certain extent of bankruptcy. And the Premier League, they got the okay to start training. But do you believe this is an appropriate time due to the fact that there was 3,000 new cases reported 2 days ago?
I don't think so, Celine. I think it's very risky. And, even Germany has handled the virus very well. If you look at their statistics, they were pretty low for the most part compared to these other countries like Spain and Italy and England over there in Europe. Even they have gotten a bit of a spike now since, the players have started to come back into training. And I guess all the staff have had to go and move around to these stadiums as well, right? It's something we don't always consider, but there's tons of staff in every single building. They've even had to use just local reporters, and even then, there's been a spike in cases. And like you said, the UK's had a lot of cases that they clearly haven't been able to take care of well. And ultimately, the safety of the people of their country needs to be, put first, in my opinion. But unfortunately, and I think this may be even bigger than the clubs going bankrupt specifically, is that the Premier League, there's talks that they could be sued by their broadcaster, the one that holds the broadcast rights, which is Sky Sports. It's one of the bigger TV companies over there in the UK. And I believe if the Premier League doesn't uphold their part of the bargain, I guess, or part of the deal, I guess you could say, along with other leagues, I'm sure, is that they could get sued, which is probably the biggest issue with it all, is that, it is more like the entire league could have an issue there and lose tons of money. And the whole thing is just, it's a bad situation. I really think that, in this time, I understand that everybody's losing money, but if you're Sky Sports, why are you going to be suing someone in a time of crisis like this when absolutely nothing like this should be happening at all?
This whole coronavirus, like, for all the leagues, it's a really tricky situation. I feel like no one really knows how to go about it. They're trying to do their best, but thank you so much for your time, Jeff. And I can't wait to see you at school again.
Same here, Celine.
So now we're joined by LUCA MOIA. LUCA, how have you been?
I'm good, Celine. Trying to keep busy, trying to make the best out of the situation. It's hard though, but hopefully we'll get back to things soon.
So I know that you are an NFL expert, as I would say.
I try.
So they released a schedule to start September 10th, and they laid out protocols on how facilities can reopen to operate. Now, what happens if a second wave comes? Do you believe that the NFL is going to cancel their season?
Well, I think the NFL is in the best position right now out of all the leagues because their league isn't, like you said, scheduled to start until September. So they have a lot of breathing room to see, what they're going to do and whatnot. And if the second wave does come, it could come even before September, right? So they even have more time to figure it out. Right now, obviously, there's probably not going to be any fans in the stadium. That's what they're leaning towards, just to be on the safe side. But if it does happen and the NFL might have to think about rescheduling, I mean, it would suck, of course. If you have to cancel a whole season, you hope that it doesn't have to come to that. But I think the NFL is in a good position right now because they start so late.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The fact that they start late, it's looking more in their favor that the league will start up and will continue as usual. But I have to ask you this. I know I asked you this privately a couple weeks ago, but I'm pretty sure all CSMers want to know your take on this. Tom Brady to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How do you feel about that? Are you still a Pats fan? Are you jumping the bandwagon?
Well, no, I'm still a Pats fan. Of course, it was hard to see, all those reports. Like, it was kind of one of those things where you knew it was going to happen, but then when it actually did happen, it doesn't feel real, right? So when I woke up, I remember that morning, I saw the notification he's leaving the Patriots. I'm like, okay, like this is actually happening. Like we're going to have a new quarterback, something that, I started watching 10 years ago, but for Patriot fans, they haven't seen this in 20 years. Right. So there's going to be someone new under center. I'm still a Patriots fan, of course, still want to do good. But I'm going to be rooting hard for Brady to do good in Tampa as well.
Well, Brady is going to be playing with his buddy Gronkowski. So
I know.
That's going to be a dynamic.
Don't remind me. I know.
But thank you so much for your time, LUCA. And I hope you have a lovely day. I'll talk to you soon and hopefully see you soon.
Yes. Thank you. You too, Celine. Stay safe.
Hey, Allie. How's everything? I miss you.
Hey, Celine, miss you too. You know me, just trying to keep busy at home, quarantine life, missing the Raptors, missing going to the games, just everything Raptors,
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone in Toronto is missing their Raptors. And speaking of the Raptors, going back to the season, they're in second in the East. They were having a strong season and they managed to clinch a playoff berth. Now, if the NBA season was to resume, how did you see the future of the Toronto Raptors season play out this year?
I mean, right now it's kind of hard to tell because we didn't even really get like a chance to see it. It could end up any way, like they could pick up where they left off from last season, competing for another title, or we could see Pascal Siakam not ready to take the step to fill the void of Kawhi in the playoffs. Or the Celtics come out booming, Durant is healthy, the Raptors could be flatlined by the virus as well, and not be as heated as they once were. So, there's many different ways that the season could end if it was resumed. We just don't know.
But without the Raptors on TV, I know you've been getting your basketball fix somewhere else. How is The Last Dance?
Oh my God, I love it. It's such an interesting insight into the world of Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, the whole Bulls team, and came at the perfect time too. Like just as we were about to miss basketball, it finally gave like a reason for the fans to all come together again. And although I'm not done it yet, almost.
Well, I'll let you go so you can get back and finish the rest of it. Trust me, it's really good and you're going to love it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Celine.
Hi, Eric. How have you been?
I've been all right. Trying to keep busy during quarantining. Not much to do, to be honest. It gets kind of boring, but I've been watching some NHL Rewind Classics, some hockey classics, Team Canada, USA. So trying to keep busy with that, going on some drives sometimes.
Gary Bettman has made it clear that he's not ruling out canceling the season, throwing many questions up into the air for all hockey fans. How will the playoff format look like? What are the precautions that they're going to take? Is there going to be a hockey hub? So if the NHL does resume, in your opinion, how should they go about it? Or do you think they should just completely cancel the rest of the season altogether?
Well, with them playing in certain cities, I don't think they'll be playing in Canada. So any NHL teams that are in Canada that are in this new playoff format that they're talking about, I think they will be in the States because of the border travel. They're not going to be allowed to travel back and forth. I think you got to think about the players too. I know the fans will be in the stadiums and everything, but I think you got to think of the safety of the players and their health because they're going to be in contact with each other.
Yeah.
You did hear of modifications suggested by some infectious disease doctors. And to be honest, I don't think these modifications, if they were to implement these into the game, then you might as well just cancel the season and not play at all. Because how do you play an NHL game with wingers standing 2 feet apart at the faceoff dot? Then what happens when they drop the puck? They're in contact anyway. So to me, it doesn't make much sense. Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley said that they don't feel it's necessary to implement those modifications, which I totally agree with, because at the end of the day, what's the point of playing if you're not going to actually play the game? Right?
If they do implement all that, it's not hockey anymore. You know that, I know that, we all know that. But it was announced today that the NHL and the NHLPA hope for a resolution in 7 to 10 days. So you're really curious to see if they do make a final decision on what's going to happen with the remainder of the season. But let's keep it on a positive note, well, somewhat of a positive note. If the remainder of the 2020 season was to go on, let's say before COVID-19, what was your hot take? What team did you have winning the Stanley Cup?
Oh, that's tough because usually this is the part of the year when it ended where you really see who's going in hot into the playoffs and where teams really change. Being a Leaf fan, like I mentioned earlier, obviously they weren't on the best stretch as of late before the season ended, but they did have a lot of potential. And based off where the season was going, I think they were going to play Tampa Bay in the first round. And to be honest, I know they've had their troubles against Boston lately in the playoffs. To be honest, I think they would have beat Tampa. They matched up better against Tampa throughout the whole year. And playoffs are different, but Tampa to me isn't a playoff team. I know people say Toronto isn't either. They're a bit soft, but I think Toronto has that edge over Tampa. It was tough. You had a lot of strong teams in the West this year as well, so it could have been up for grabs with anyone. I think it probably would have went to the East again. Pittsburgh was looking strong again, so I think they would have probably went far. So I think the Cup, I don't have a specific team right now to say who would win, but I think it would land in the East.
Well, it's uncertain as of right now because we don't even know if the remainder of the season is going to continue. But thank you so much, Eric EREMITA, for stopping by and chatting with me for a little bit. I hope you have a very nice day, and I'll see you soon for dinner.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I could give my expertise.